Good morning, natural gas. It's Monday, June 22nd, 2026. I'm Tim Beggins, president of Elk Trading Company, and this is the top news for natural gas. Number one, the Iran war headlines continue to gyrate energy markets. Number two, in the U.S., the 8 to 10-day temperature outlook continues to warm. Number three, record-breaking heat in France this week. And number four, the EU or Europe is betting on a warm winter and the end to the Iran war. Let's turn to the spot July contract, which goes off the board on Friday. That's right, options go off the board on Thursday. Currently, right now, we're trading at 327, up 3.7 cents or 1.14%. We were as high as 333 and a half until the news came out that the U.S. was going to allow Iran to produce oil for 60 days, export it. So we're getting caught up in that movement here in the crude oil side. But let's take a look at the hourly chart. We got up to second resistance here, which came in at 332.2, and now we're falling back down, but the RSI is going sideways, which means it's trying to stabilize and move higher. But again, let's go back to the daily here. One thing I forgot to point out, we've got a series of higher lows and higher highs, which should suggest that we go and test the 340 level. So let's see. Our last resistance today is 339.90. So let's see if we stabilize and start to punch higher. Let's take a look at the options. And this is the options on the NYMEX here. And the highest open interest, the 350 strike. That's right, over 46,000 here open interest. And we've got very little open interest in the futures. That's right, only 56,295 left. So we've got a lot of movement going on Thursday. Storage, option expiration. Looks like Friday may be just quite quiet. Let's take a look at the 8 to 14-day temperature outlook. And finally, we get the populated weighted center of the United States. That's Texas all the way over to Chicago and eastward. And now that's starting to look above normal. So that's good, positive news. Let's take a look at ERCOT in particular. Right now, we're going to get some good renewables here, over 41,000 here for megawatts potential. And the load today, over 82,000, almost 83,000 in ERCOT. Why? It's hot and it's sticky. That means it's humid. That means we're going to see heat indices 104, 105 today in the Houston area. So load is going to be up. Let's take a look at the power prices across the United States, and it's quite quiet other than SPP, which did spike this morning to $151 per megawatt. And as you can see right now, most of the grid is expected to be fairly benign, really under $80 per megawatt here. That's PJM is the high here, about $80. Everything else running around $60 per megawatt hour today. So let's take a look at the weather, and this is the heat that's building up here across the southern tier of the United States. And as you can see, this is the European model, which tends to run a little cooler than the GFS, and that heat continues to build across the south and southeast. As we move into the forecast period here, let's look at, this is Monday, next Monday here, you start to see 96 in Dallas, you start to see 90s across Florida, you start seeing 80s pushing up all the way towards Chicago. And then that heat continues to build as you push into Tuesday, and you could start to see some even more warm temperatures now moving into the Carolinas here by Wednesday next week. And of course, you can start seeing triple digits here in Texas. So let's take a look at the heat risk. And as you can see right now, we've got some major heat risk for over 21 million people today. We start seeing some extreme temperature risks out here near Abilene, Texas, and that continues to expand. This is over 1 million people now on Wednesday that are under extreme heat risk. As you can see, it starts to get warmer and warmer across the south. And again, remember, the humidity is driving power prices here because power load here because it is extremely humid. And as you can see right now, 4 million people on Saturday, 9 million people exposed to extreme heat risk. This is the Carolinas, Florida, Texas, Oklahoma, all the way back over into parts of the Panhandle. Yeah, all the way into the Panhandle. So Let's take a look at the European outlook here, and this is tomorrow here. This is in Celsius, so 42 Celsius here. You're pushing over 105 degrees here in parts of France. This is record-breaking heat this week across France. And let's take a look as we go through the forecast period here. This continues all the way through. There are record low temperatures, meaning that they're very, very high. You're not getting below 70 degrees Fahrenheit at night. So this is extreme risk here all the way through the week here for France here. So this is incredibly record-breaking heat, which will drive power prices. And let's take a look at the TTF. This is the Jan versus the October spread. And as you can see, it's inverted, which means that there's more of a premium for the prompt LNG than there is for winter LNG. Remember, Europe is betting on a warm winter and the end of the Iran war. So cargoes today, better premium than the winter. Let's see if that actually works out. Because storage is only 46.4% full right now. I can't talk this morning. We're still at really minimal levels across the EU. We've got some problems, obviously, in Great Britain, Belgium, and the Netherlands. And let's take a look at Asia. And this is JKM here. And this is priced in Japanese yen. And it is up today over 2%. This is for the Jan contract. So at least the Japanese Korean marker here is starting to say, hey, wait a minute, this Iran war may not end anytime soon. We'll continue to gyrate. We need to start pushing some premium to get these winter cargoes. And let's take a look at Asia. As you can see, the temperatures over here in India, really extreme heat as well. So just like in Europe, we do start seeing some warmer temperatures also pushing through just south of Beijing here. That's north of Shanghai. And you start seeing warmer temperatures start pushing into the Koreas and Japan. As we get through the forecast period here, it is starting to look warm across the US, Europe, and Asia. And let's take a look at the Strait of Hormuz. Yes, we've got some traffic moving through the Strait. Again, the Treasury Department has allowed Iranian oil exports for the next 60 days. We'll see if this negotiation, or at least a tentative one, on an agreement to open the Strait of Hormuz continues to hold. But there was an incident last night at Ras Laffan. There was an explosion at the industrial city. We don't know if it's tied directly to LNG, but there are no vessels loading up at Ras Laffan. There was 18 people that were injured and 11 people are still missing. And let's take a look at the US LNG, and this is Cameron running about 1.48 out of 1.56, so doing very well here. Freeport running about 1.8 BCF. That's good news there. How about LNG? This for Creole Trail that feeds into Sabine Pass. And again, running 1.57 out of 1.7 BCF. So also doing well on capacity utilization there. Same thing for Corpus Christi, doing very, very well, over 92% capacity there. And let's take a look at Trans-Cameron Pipeline. This feeds Calcasieu Pass, that's Venture Global's. Again, we still have open capacity here for this particular facility. And as you move over to Plaquemines, it's running over nameplate capacity. This continues that recent trend. It is running over 4 BCF out of 3.94 nameplate capacity. And here's Golden Pass running over 400,000. So that's half of Train 1 capacity of 800 to 850,000 MMBTUs. Good news here, no vessels loading yet. We'll keep a careful eye on it as well. How about the U.S. nuclear fleet? This is what's containing power prices. And as you can see right now, for today, we are running at 2.9 gigawatts that are offline. Mainly, this is South Texas unit number 2. Palisades still has yet to come up. It may not be until winter at this point. Let's take a look at El Niño. And here's the ENSO probabilities for El Niño. And as you can see, for the August, September, October period, all the way through into November, December, and January period, the probability is 100%. So let's take a look at the stocks here. This is the oil and gas E&P sector. Stocks between $2 and $10 billion have a high short float over 10%. And as you can see, it's a mixed bag here. A little bit of green, a little bit of brown, little bit of gray. Why? Because oil is gyrating back and forth by dollars in just an hour. So we'll keep a careful eye on it, but right now things are just slightly positive. Again, recapping here for the spot July natural gas contract, which goes off the board on Friday. Option expiration is Thursday. Currently, we are running at 327.5, up 4.2 cents or 1.3%. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Thanks for listening. We'll see you soon.